Uh, Good morning, students. Today's topic, what we are going to discuss is vegetative propagation in plants. So, we have already studied about asexual reproduction in organisms. Asexual reproduction in plants is known as vegetative propagation. So we are going to study with the different kinds of stem modification and how it is propagating, how it is helping in asexual reproduction. That will be the content for today's topic. Now, basically, what is the meaning of vegetative propagation? As the word specifies, vegetative. The vegetative parts of the plant are root, stem, leaf, and the reproductive part is the flower. So vegetative propagation means when the vegetative parts of the plant are used for the multiplication of plants. Propagating means what? Multiplying or increasing the number of plants. Then we use the term as vegetative propagation. So, asexual reproduction in plants where vegetative parts of the plants are used. It could be root, stem and leaf. Then we call it as vegetative propagation. And this vegetative propagation occurs by a specialized unit called as vegetative propagules or the vegetative parts, which are root, stem and leaf. So vegetative propagation, first we will do with regard to the stem. Stem is classified into three types: underground stem, then you have aerial stem and subaerial stem. What is the meaning of underground stem? The stem which grows below the soil is called as underground stem. So what do these stems do? These stems have undergone modification. Modification for what? Modification for the storage of food. So how these are multiplying, how these are propagating, we will be studying in the underground stem modification. That's the first one. Then the second one is we are talking of subaerial plants. The plants which are aerial. Okay, first of all, aerial means the plants which is above the soil, which grows above the soil. Around you, what you see is the aerial part of the plant. So subaerial means the stem of the plant is neither underground nor it is aerial. When it is on the soil, then we call it as subaerial modification. Okay, and then aerial is the stem which is seen around rose and other plants, which we don't have much in detail to study. So that is with regard to the stem. And vegetative propagation is also taking place by the leaves. So one by one in detail, we will be just doing it. So first let's take the underground stem modification. Now different names have been given to this underground stem modification. For example, first one, let's say in case of ginger or in banana, we give the name as rhizome. What is the meaning of rhizome? These are perinating underground stem which is growing in the unfavorable conditions, and they produce new aerial shoots in the favorable condition. Generally, rhizome means what? The stem which grows vertically below the soil, then we call it as rhizome. Example, rhizome of ginger. In case of ginger, the ginger what we have at home, you have seen here these portions. You can just notice when the ginger is kept at home, small buds will start developing, and these buds will detach from the parent plant. They will fall on the suitable substratum and they germinate into a new plant. That is how they are propagating. So throughout you will find the buds. These buds are present at the nodal region of the stem. As you are all aware, on the stem we have nodes and internodes. So on the nodal region, these buds are present. And when they detach and fall on the suitable substratum, they germinate into a new plant. That's why the name has been given as rhizome of ginger. That's the first example. Second example, eyes of potato, the most common thing you can see over here, this portion. So in case of potato and ginger and all, we do not have the seeds for sowing. It is the part of the plant which has been used. Now tuber, generally the name is given to the potato. The name, scientific name given to the potato. Tuber is the name given for the modification which is seen in the potato. So it is a modified underground stem which has nodes, and on the nodes these buds will develop. We also call it as eyes. Each portion is over here. This is denoting the eyes, and buds are present on the eyes, and each eye of the potato tuber is a bud which develops into a new plant. So all these, when detached and when they fall on the suitable substratum, they develop into a new plant. That's why we call it as eyes of potato. These two are the examples for the underground stem modification. Then plants like potato, sugarcane, banana, ginger, dahlia, all are cultivated using their buds. Another picture over here. Now these site, the buds are actually the site of origin of new plantlets where they have the nodes and they undergo modification. When these nodes, they come in contact with the damp soil. That's why I said that when these detach and fall on the suitable substratum. What is a suitable substratum? Suitable substratum is a suitable place. Suitable place is what? The soil. The soil has to be wet. That's the meaning. When they come in contact with the damp soil or water, they produce roots and they produce new plants. Like this. So look at the picture here. So many buds. Each one will detach from one single potato. So many plants can be produced. So each bud will detach, fall on the suitable substratum, and they germinate into a new plant. So these two are the examples for underground stem, particularly with regard to vegetative propagation. The next one, vegetative propagation in subaerial plants. Subaerial plants means the plants which are on the soil. We generally call them as runners and creepers, and we give them different names. So what is this runner? As the picture is self-explanatory, runner is a modified stem. You can see here it's a modified stem with the node here where the flower is arising. This is the node. This is another internode. The distance between the two node is the internode. One node, another node, and then you have the internode. At the nodal region, it is the flower, the leaf, and the roots will arise. This keep running on the soil like that. That's why the name has been given as runner. And in the suitable conditions prevail, this will detach from the parent plant and it develops into a new plant. Then we call it as runner. There's a picture of an oxalis. Example is oxalis. Similarly, the second example is sucker. Sucker means the same thing like runner, but what happens is a portion of the stem grows below the soil and then it comes out, and then it continues growing below the soil and comes out. When a portion of the stem goes below the soil, at that portion the roots will start developing, adventitious roots start developing, and like this it continues growing into the soil for some distance, then a portion of it comes out. The difference between the both, between the runner and sucker, is runner is completely on the soil, whereas in case of some sucker, some portion of the stem goes below the soil and some of it remains on the soil. So the portion which is remaining on the soil will have the leaf as well as the adventitious roots. This portion will detach as it keeps on growing. The portion will keep on detaching and it will germinate into a new plant. Like this, many plants will be produced. Example for sucker is chrysanthemum. Then similarly, in case, one more example, we have something called as offset. Offset example is eichhornia or water hyacinth. First of all, let's understand what is offset. The difference between The runner and offset is, in case of offset, you can see here the leaves are thicker, they are found together in a bunch, so we call it as tuft of leaf. And these plants are found on the water bodies. When the plants are found on the water bodies, on the surface of the water body, as the pictures you can see all around over here, all our lakes are covered with this. So when this is found on the water body, on the surface of water body, we call it as offset. So when it is found on the water body, the leaves need to be in a bunch, they need to be more stronger, then we call it as tuft of leaf. Okay, same thing, tuft of leaf and the root. It just keeps on growing and it keeps on detaching. So offset example is water hyacinth or eichhornia. Water hyacinth is a common name, is an English name, whereas eichhornia is a biological name. Now offset or offset example is eichhornia. A special mention to be made over here. Eichhornia is known as Terror of Bengal. Eichhornia is called as Terror of Bengal. Why it is called as Terror of Bengal? First of all, it is an aquatic plant. It is an aquatic plant, and this plant does not belong to India. It's a native of Amazon basis because the plant is so beautiful. As you've seen in the earlier pictures, the flower is very beautiful and the stem, the see, this is the flower. There's a flower of Eichhornia, which is very beautiful. It looks very nice. The color is also very nice. This is the stem where the petiole is swollen. If you're all aware with the modifications that hydrophytes undergo, you'll understand why the stem is swollen. The stem is swollen because of air and chyma tissue so that it maintains the buoyancy. The plant keeps floating on the surface. So it looks very beautiful. The leaf is also very beautiful. So yeah, because of its beautiful appearance, though it is a native of Amazon basis, it was brought to India, and it is an aquatic plant, and it is one of the most invasive weeds. Weeds means the unwanted plants which do not have any use. The invasive weed means they invade the entire place. So it is one of the most invasive weeds which is found growing in the standing water. So if you take a lake portion, after some time you can notice that this water hyacinth just starts growing over there, and over a period of time entire lake bed will be covered with water hyacinth. Then what happens if the entire lake bed is covered with water hyacinth? It drains all the oxygen from the water, dissolved oxygen in the water which is there. It drains away all the oxygen, and because of which fishes will not be able to get the sufficient oxygen, which results in the death of fishes. And since we are not able to get rid of this plant, even a small portion of the plant is left, it propagates rapidly at a phenomenal rate. It just multiplies. One single portion of the stem is also left, and it spreads all over the water body in a short period of time, and it is very difficult to get rid of this plant. That is why it is called as Terror of Bengal. Maybe this plant was first introduced in the Bengal, that's why the name is given as Terror of Bengal. Same thing is applicable to our places also. The picture is self-explanatory. It has occupied the whole lake bed, and they require machines to clean this and remove this. In case, and it happens that somehow one portion of the stem will be left, within 6 months or within a shorter duration you can notice that entire lake bed will be occupied with this plant. Once it is occupied, it drains away all the oxygen, and it causes the death of aquatic organism, particularly the fishes, and we are not able to get rid of this plant. That is why we call it as Terror of Bengal. Then that's with the subaerial plants. Then in the stem portion we have only so much, and then aerial, which has not been there in the syllabus, but still generally aerial, one example we can take is rose. So these are actually here propagation is happening naturally without the involvement of human beings. But when we are getting involved, then it becomes artificial propagation. In rows, you can see there's something called as cutting, where a portion of the stem is cut and it is sown in the soil and applied with the hormones. Like auxin's hormones like indole acetic acid, indole butyric acid, naphthalene acetic acid, which helps in the formation of root and the leaf and plant growth. So our syllabus doesn't speak about the aerial modification. That's why it is not projected in the slide. But just for your information, cutting, grafting, these are the various techniques that has been applied. And root also, generally we take any plant and we just sow it, it grows with the root. That is why no special mention has been given about the root in the syllabus. Next, vegetative propagation by leaves. When leaf is involved in vegetative propagation, how is the leaf involved over here? There's a picture of a plant called as bryophyllum. This is a bryophyllum, and what is noticed over here is on the edges of the bryophyllum there are buds. These are all the buds along with the adventitious roots. When the roots grow away from the original position, then we call it as adventitious roots. So throughout the leaf of the plant, you can see the buds developed along with the adventitious roots. Each of these buds will detach, fall on the suitable substratum. Suitable substratum means soil. It falls on the suitable substratum and this germinates into a new plant. So as many as buds keep on falling on the soil, each bud will develop into a new plant. So that is how the leaf is involved in vegetative propagation. The second example is agave. The name given over here is bulbil of agave. Agave is the name of the plant. The picture is seen over here. So the difference between these two buds is these are the adventitious buds. Whereas in case of bulbil, it is a fleshy buds. It will be located somewhere over here, this portion. And same thing, it's basically found on the foliage of leaves. This will detach, germinate into a suitable, falls on the suitable substratum, and then it germinates into a new plant. So these two examples, bryophyllum and bulbil, are the examples for vegetative propagation by leaves. So like this, various parts of the plant are involved in propagation. So in earlier section, we have studied about asexual method of reproduction in organisms. And now in case of plants, it is called as vegetative propagation. Now, when we start comparing, we always find sexual reproduction is more favored. It is more better because sexual reproduction induces variation. And because there is variation, we are able to survive in this harsh condition. And there is continuation of species. That is why sexual reproduction is much better than asexual reproduction. One special case we have where algae and fungi, they switch on to the sexual method of reproduction. See, during favorable conditions, algae and fungi, whenever I say favorable conditions, it is with regard to the that particular plants or that particular organism. So during favorable condition, algae and fungi, they multiply by asexual methods, that is by vegetative propagation. But when conditions are unfavorable, when the conditions are unfavorable means when the temperature is very hot or there is heavy rainfalls, in such cases what these plants do is from asexual reproduction they switch on to sexual method of reproduction during unfavorable condition. How does it happen? They start forming the gametes. They start forming the male gametes and female gametes, which we generally cannot differentiate because it's a lower organism. Then these gametes, they fuse to form what is called as zygote. And these zygote, they develop a thick wall, around themselves and they form what is called as zygospores. It's something like this. Let's say this is one gamete and this is the another gamete, the second gamete. Both of this will fuse. They will fuse to form what is called as zygote. And this zygote will start developing a thick wall around itself like this, many layered thick wall. Then we call it as zygospores. Now, why are they developing this thick wall? They develop this thick wall to resist these environmental conditions, and it will remain dormant. It remains as it is for them for many days or months until the conditions become favorable. Once the condition becomes favorable for them, the zygospores will start developing into new organisms. So certain plants, even in, we have some cases in animals also, certain plants and animals, depending on the conditions, I'm talking of lower organism, they switch the method of reproduction from asexual to sexual method of reproduction. So this was a discussion about asexual method of reproduction in lower organisms as well as in plants, which is known as vegetative propagation. Thank you.